What is it like to have an online dating meetup turn into a total disaster? On our 100th day of knowing each other, I quietly ran to my online date's university, planning to give her a surprise. However, I unexpectedly overheard a conversation between her and her best friend. She said, "What's the use of just talking big? He didn't even send a 1,314 yuan red packet. A textbook definition of a stingy man. Plus, we've been dating online until now, exchanging photos, and he doesn't even dare to show his face. He's probably just a broke loser. It's bad enough that he's poor, but he's also horny, insisting on checking the goods in advance." Her best friend gloated, "Then you'll have to show him something." My online date hummed and said, "But it's not mine, it's Lou Royan's." Her best friend gasped, "Is that the roommate you mentioned last time? The E-cup girl who was humble bragging about having body anxiety?" She snorted coldly, "Yeah. She's so eager to help." Seeing that I didn't want to take photos of myself, she proactively offered to send hers instead. Her best friend laughed, "Well, won't that just hook him completely?" The group paused for a moment, then burst into laughter together. I smiled too. Thinking of that highly impactful photo, I told myself, in 3 minutes, I want all the information on this girl. After all, I am an honest man. Honest, duty-bound, keeping to myself, and law-abiding. Diligent and studious, my ass. That's just a persona I set up for myself in front of my elders. The real me is rebellious, wild, vindictive, and hard to mess with. I'm also extremely greedy, in every sense of the word. After the college entrance exam, I spent every day glued to my phone, scrolling through attractive girls. Gym uniforms, black stockings, older sister types, ultra-thin white yoga pants. I commented, liked, and saved them all. The more I scrolled, the more my heart raced, and I couldn't sit still. So, I started an online relationship. Sutingting, a pure college girl, with long legs, a tiny waist, a swan neck, slender nails, a butterfly back, and a peach rump. Most importantly, she is a 36E extreme hourglass figure. Meeting such a masterpiece makes me unbelievably happy. To my surprise, Sutingting actually goes to the same university as me. This made me feel like we were a match made in heaven. However, she has no idea yet. I didn't tell her because I wanted to surprise her on the first day of school. To maintain the mystery, I didn't send her a single photo of my face. Sutingting got angry about this, her voice sounding incredibly aggrieved over the phone. Her hometown is just in the neighboring city, less than half an hour away by high-speed rail. I pondered back and forth. I decided to go see her directly. During our passionate relationship, we always updated each other on our whereabouts, even messaging about where we were eating with friends. Therefore, I didn't need to try and fish for information from her. Following the navigation, I easily found the snack shop where they were located. Among dozens of tables at the roadside stall, I spotted Sutingting at first glance. She was even more beautiful in person than in her photos. It was the height of summer, and even the wind was hot. As it blew against my face, my mind grew restless and agitated. I adjusted my breathing and was about to step forward, only to see Sutingting roll her eyes, saying sarcastically, "What's the use of just saying you like someone? That's all empty. He's so stingy that he won't even send a 1314 red envelope on holidays, a textbook cheapskate. And after all this online dating, he hasn't even dared to show his face in photos, probably just a poor loser." My footsteps halted, and the excitement in my heart quickly receded like the tide. Just then, Sutingting spoke again. "A backup? How could I ever really like him? Let me tell you, high-quality girls must have plenty of backups to ensure we select a high-value partner." She snorted coldly and continued, "It's bad enough that he's poor, but he's also perverted, insisting that I take photos for him to see." I gritted my teeth, my fists clenching involuntarily. Clearly, she was the one bragging about having huge breasts, enticing me to ask if I wanted to see them. Why wouldn't I look if it was offered? Now, she made it sound as if she were forced into it. Amidst the laughter, someone asked curiously, "So you actually showed him?" Sutingting hummed in agreement and muttered, "But it wasn't mine, it was Lou Royan's." Surprised gasps filled the room. One girl asked, "Is that the roommate you mentioned last time?" The E-cup girl who was humble bragging about her body anxiety? Su Tingting pursed her lips and said, "Yes, Lu Ruyan is very helpful." Seeing that I didn't want to take photos of myself, she proactively offered to send hers. Everyone at the table paused for a moment, then burst into laughter. Someone teased, "I'm impressed." So in other words, this relationship is outwardly two people, but actually two people plus an extra cup size. Another wave of cheerful laughter ensued. Su Tingting frowned and protested, "What relationship? I already said he's just a backup. At best, he is. Just treat me like a dog. Once the summer vacation is over, I will dump this poor loser immediately." Hearing Su Tingting say these words again, I surprisingly didn't feel much. At this moment, my mind was entirely filled with that highly shocking photo. What was her name again? Oh right, Lu Ruyan. Sitting on the high-speed train home, I began browsing Su Tingting's social media feed. But she was truly too narcissistic, posting absolutely nothing other than her own selfies. I sighed. It seemed that if I wanted to know what Lu Ruyan looked like, I would have to wait until school started. After a second of disappointment, I opened my phone to browse videos of beautiful girls. As my station approached, I swiped onto a campus interview video with the theme, "Who is the school beauty in your heart?" I wasn't very interested and was about to swipe away, but suddenly heard the name Lu Ruyan. Just then, the station arrival announcement sounded. I walked out while turning up my headphone volume, listening to it several times to confirm I hadn't misheard. Moreover, the school name matched perfectly. I thought of that photo again. School beauty Lu Ruyan, is she actually quite wild in private? As school opening approached, Su Tingting is getting colder and colder, it takes days for her to reply to my messages. I grit my teeth secretly, if she wasn't still of some use, I would have deleted her long ago. In the evening, staring at the one-sided chat window, I reluctantly sent Su Tingting another emoji. This time she replied quite quickly. She said, "Well, I don't think we're a good match. We can be friends, but let's forget about being lovers." I was lying in bed listening to music when I saw this message, and my eyes lit up. After long days of yearning, this day has finally come. Curving my lips, I typed, "Why? Is there something I didn't do well enough? Can't I change?" I typed each word with determination. Su Tingting replied, "No, don't overthink it, it's my problem." I sneered. The classic cliché of a green tea bitch, nothing new at all. After complaining inwardly, I continued to play the role of the simp and sent, "You don't need to comfort me, I know I'm not worthy of an outstanding girl like you. You deserve a better man. I wish you happiness." Su Tingting froze for a moment, her heart tightening inexplicably. After a while, she replied, "You are very good, be a little more confident in yourself, I am the one who let you down." She then added, "If you have any requests, you can tell me, I will definitely agree." I got excited, sat up straight, and called Su Tingting directly. After she picked up, I sighed first, my tone carrying a sense of loneliness and humility. I asked, "Do you really agree to any request of mine?" Su Tingting gave a serious MHM. She said, "Actually, I kind of know that your family background isn't very good, and you aren't very confident in your looks. But I don't really care, if you want to meet me, I can do it right now." I said, "Then introduce a new girlfriend to me." I really didn't have the patience to listen to her babble, so I interrupted her directly. Su Tingting was stunned, only reacting after 3 seconds, "Huh?" I sighed and said, "Tingting, actually, from the moment I saw your photo, I knew it was impossible for us. You are so beautiful, how could you like such an ordinary guy like me? Being able to be friends with you is already enough for me." Su Tingting was originally full of anger, but hearing me say this, her anger instantly dissipated. While her vanity was satisfied, she also felt very guilty. So, she said, "Gee Boda, don't give up on yourself. You are very good. I will introduce my roommate to you right now." She continued, "She is also very beautiful. Many rich second-generation guys at our school are chasing her, but she rejected all of them. This shows she isn't looking for those things in a boyfriend. You two should chat, maybe you will get along." I fell silent for a moment, sighing in my heart, and said, "Alright, then I'll give it a try." Then I pretended to ask casually, "By the way, what is her name?" Su Tingting replied, "Lu Ruyan." "Her name is Lu Ruyan." It worked! My eyes curved up as I suppressed the excitement in my heart and adjusted my breathing. I said, "Okay, then I will add her on WeChat first. Send me her contact." Su Tingting, thank you. Su Tingting smiled and said, "It's nothing. We are friends now, after all." 10 minutes later, Lu Ruyan and I became friends. I couldn't wait to open her moments. I don't know if she blocked me from seeing her posts, but her moments was completely empty, with nothing there at all. The avatar also felt completely artificial, just like a newly registered alternate account. Su Tingting wouldn't be playing tricks on me again, would she? Just as I was wondering, a stream of new messages popped up in the chat box. "Hello G Boda, I am Lu Ruyan. Su Tingting said she wanted to introduce you to me as a boyfriend. Recently, I do have the intention of dating, and I think we can give it a try. However, I'm worried that I might not be your type, so let me send you some photos first. You can decide whether you want to be with me after seeing them." I swallowed hard, slowly slid my finger up, and squinted to open the photo. In the next second, my pupils instantly dilated. If seeing an ordinary beauty makes my heart race, then Lu Ruyan, with just a static photo, was so beautiful that it made my head spin and almost gave me a nosebleed. I paced back and forth in excitement. At this moment, Su Tingting sent a message. She wrote, "Lu Ruyan is not very easy to get along with. She is quite indifferent and cold to everyone. Don't lose heart, just take the initiative." What? I looked at the few revealing, body-showing photos that Lu Ruyan had just sent over. Cold? But how come I feel that if women are like water? My head was about to boil. Holding my phone, I saved Lu Ruyan's beautiful photos one by one into my album, completely forgetting to reply to her for a moment. Lu Ruyan couldn't sit still anymore. She asked, "Don't you like them?" She added, "Maybe the angle wasn't good. Besides, everyone says I look much better in person. How about we meet up? I will come to find you." I raised my eyebrows. Why the rush? I saw online that when online dating goes offline, things progress incredibly fast. Some even, on the very first day. Is this not a bit too fast? While spacing out, my finger accidentally tapped on the hidden album. There was only one photo inside. My blood surged and my lips went dry. I poured myself a glass of ice water to cool down and replied, "It's not that I don't like them, you are very beautiful." I continued, "No need to rush to meet up. Actually, we are alumni from the same school. We can meet when the new semester starts in a few days." After this message was sent, the chat box fell silent for a moment. Then, my phone began to vibrate. I cleared my throat before daring to press the answer button, comforting myself, "Hello, nice to meet you." Then, a clear and sweet voice came from the phone speaker, "Hello, I am Lu Ruyan." My heart pounded wildly, my ears burning hot as I replied, "I know." She softly asked, "So, are we lovers now?" I asked back, "But you don't even know what kind of person I am or what I look like. What if we meet and you find out I'm just a poor loser, won't you be disappointed?" Lu Ruyan gave a soft hum, "No, I won't." I gritted my teeth. Su Tingting had said the exact same thing, yet she still talked trash behind my back. Seeing my silence, Lu Ruyan slowly spoke, "G Boda, I don't want to lie to you. Actually, I met you a long time ago." Met a long time ago? Where? Lu Ruyan was so beautiful, there was no way I wouldn't have any impression of her. While I was confused and thinking, she spoke again. "The reason I hurried to establish a relationship with you is because I know you recently went to Hu City. I guessed you went to find Su Tingting." I became even more bewildered and said, "She doesn't even know I went to look for her, how do you know?" Lu Ruyan fell silent for a moment, then whispered, "Because she is exposing you." Lu Ruyan sent me a link. I casually clicked it open and saw a slightly blurry photo. In the picture, I was sitting in a luxury car, my forehead resting against the cold glass. The colorful neon lights shone on my side profile, creating a perfect atmosphere. The caption read, "Urgently searching for someone online." Location, Shanghai, evening of the 7th, encountered an incredibly heart-fluttering guy. Girls, who understands this feeling? I'm totally obsessed with his looks, but I couldn't catch up with his car. Please help me out, everyone. If we can get in touch, I'm willing to suffer the pain of love on behalf of all my sisters. Seeing this last sentence, I couldn't help but burst into laughter. I glanced at the calendar. There was still 1 week left before school started, which made me really look forward to it. I rolled over, holding my phone to admire the beautiful photo of Lu Ruyan. Actually, compared to Su Tingting's post searching for someone, I was more curious about when Lu Ruyan had seen me. As if reading my mind, she proactively confessed before I even asked. She said, 3 years ago, I was also at the National Model United Nations for Youth in Hong Kong, sitting just across the aisle from you. I was slightly stunned and immediately turned up the volume of my phone, holding it to my ear. So it was at the Model United Nations. It seems the two of us are quite destined. I only participated once, yet I was spotted by Lu Ruyan. So, he fell in love with me at first sight. I curled the corners of my mouth, just about to gloat for a bit. But in the next second, I heard Lu Ruyan say, "You were probably too hungry back then, eating 10 hot dogs in one go." I was speechless. Could someone please come and poison him dumb? I thought he was deeply impressed by my eloquence during the debate. Who would have thought his focus was actually on how many hot dogs I ate? I tensed my face and asked coldly, "And then?" A very soft laugh came from the receiver, carrying the sedimentation of past memories. He said, "You ate them one after another, inhaling them like a storm, just like my husky." That was the first time I experienced the feeling of my heart fluttering. I was speechless. With veins popping on my forehead, I interrupted him. "Are you sure you didn't just get hungry from watching me eat?" Although I said so, my heart was beating faster and faster. Lu Ruyan laughed again and said, "I planned to ask for your contact information after the discussion ended, but unexpectedly I was stopped by a friend, delaying me for a while. When I looked up again, you were already gone." He said, "After that, I never met you in the league again, but fortunately, I got your WeChat. I sent you friend requests several times, but you rejected them all. That last time, you said in the rejection message, 'I don't add strangers as friends,' telling me not to bother you. Since then, I haven't messaged you again." I suddenly realized, I see. I helplessly held my forehead and told the truth. During that time, my dad wanted to test my willpower. He hired a lot of actors to test me, adding me on WeChat to see if I would accept. It completely wore me out. Lu Ruyan let out a brief "oh," still feeling a bit aggrieved. She said, "That day, when Su Tingting said she had a boyfriend named Ji Boda, I immediately thought of you, but felt it was impossible. It wasn't until I saw your profile picture and WeChat name, which were the same as 3 years ago, that I was sure." Her tone gradually became low. She said, "I didn't know how to describe my feelings at that time. I envied Su Tingting, but seeing you two chat so happily, I was happy for you again. I am a contradiction. I wanted you to break up, but feared you would be unhappy because of it." The young girl's love was intense and direct, with a touch of sadness. I wouldn't give Lu Ruyan a chance to get emotional, so I abruptly changed the topic. "So, is that the reason you sent that shocking photo?" Lu Ruyan was stunned for a moment, then immediately panicked once she realized. She said in a trembling voice, "I didn't. If you feel my behavior was inappropriate, I apologize, but I can explain. Su Tingting said you wanted to see those kinds of photos of her, and she wanted to send them to you but acted coy. She said, 'I don't want you to see them,' which is why." I almost burst out laughing. Lu Ruyan sure has a lot of tricks up her sleeve. Suppressing the rising corners of my mouth, I left an objective comment, "Your friend is pretty awesome." Lu Ruyan choked up, holding back for a long time before squeezing out, "Thank you." 2 days later, school started. Although we hadn't met in person yet, it didn't stop us from being clingy, even calling each other while sleeping. Su Tingting was extremely surprised by this. The Lu Ruyan she knew was like a flower on a high cold peak, icy to everyone. During their year and a half as roommates, the only time Lu Ruyan proactively spoke to her was to send her that shocking photo. Before that, they weren't even friends. It was precisely because of this. Su Tingting felt that Lu Ruyan was very easy to get along with. Although she didn't talk much, she would always step up when needed. She felt quite a sense of achievement in matchmaking me and Lu Ruyan. She said, "You two are so sweet together every day, you really don't care about whether I live or die." I was putting the phone on speaker while packing my luggage when Su Tingting's voice suddenly came through. She said, "But it's fine. Once I find him, I won't be far from leaving the single life behind either. At that time, the four of us can go on a trip together. Gee Boda, what do you think?" Before I could open my mouth, Lu Ruyan took over the line and said, "It's nothing special, you go away." She then said, "Brother G, what did you want to say just now?" Lu Ruyan's seamless transition between coldness and gentleness made me feel incredibly comfortable. A girlfriend should indeed be someone with such a huge contrast. This is what dating should feel like. I felt incredibly happy, and my voice softened with affection. I said, "It's like this, I plan to arrive at school a day early to get familiar with the campus." She asked, "Really?" Lu Ruyan fumbled and dropped her phone, only for a sharp ow to be heard as the phone hit her face. Hearing the muffled groan from the phone, I hurriedly asked, "Lu Ruyan, are you okay?" She said, "I'm fine, just accidentally bumped myself." "How are you coming over? Are your parents coming too?" I said, "My parents are currently abroad. They have to attend a wedding before they can head back." Lu Ruyan gave an understanding hum and asked, "Then what time will you arrive tomorrow?" "I'll pick you up." I said, "I will probably." However, in the next second, Su Tingting blurted out, "What? G Boda is coming to our school?" She suddenly popped up and said, "Wow, Ruyan, take me with you, I want to go too." Lu Ruyan replied discontentedly, "I'm going to meet my boyfriend, why are you joining in the fun?" Su Tingting snorted coldly after hearing this and said, "I don't care. I'm the matchmaker for the two of you. Besides, G Boda is also considered my friend. What's wrong with me meeting him since he's here?" Lu Ruyan put on a cold face and distanced herself from Su Tingting, walking to the balcony and closing the door. She pouted and said, "G Boda, I'll listen to you. Do you want to meet them?" Honestly, she is quite sensible. I smiled and directly declined, saying, "No, I don't want to meet them. I only want to see you." The next day, the plane landed smoothly. While lining up to pick up my luggage, I opened my phone and sent a message to Lu Ruyan, asking, "I've landed. Have you arrived yet?" She replied almost instantly, "Yeah, you can see me as soon as you come out." She added, "We're about to meet, I'm so excited." She sent a playful threat, "Once we meet, I'm going to kiss you to death, a really hard kiss." I wasn't one to back down either. "Alright, neither of us should be shy. Later, I'll pin you against the wall and kiss you." Carrying a sense of anticipation and secret joy. After picking up my luggage, I took out a bouquet of Juliet roses, put away my phone, and walked toward the exit. It was back-to-school season, so the airport was extremely crowded, but I still spotted Lu Ruyan at first glance. She was the same. The moment our eyes met, I realized just how breathtaking she was in person. That face and that figure looked like a flawless 3D model come to life. Wearing light makeup and a simple white dress, she stared at me blankly. Even when I walked up close to her, she was still in a daze. My heart sank. What was with this reaction? Could it be that she didn't like what she saw? My mood instantly hit rock bottom. With a cold face, I withdrew my gaze and was about to pretend I didn't know her and walk away. Suddenly, someone grabbed my sleeve, and a familiar voice sounded in my ear. She said, "Are these flowers for me?" I raised my eyelids and turned to look at her, only to see her instantly avert her gaze. Lu Ruyan lowered her head and stammered, "You have so much luggage. Let me help you push it." Revealing a pair of ears so red they looked ready to bleed, my eyes flickered, realizing she was actually shy. I immediately shoved the flowers into her arms and said with a smile, "What's wrong? Didn't you just say you wanted to kiss me to death? Why aren't you kissing me now?" Chickened out? Lu Ruyan was stunned, her cheeks flushing red as she replied, "No way, when did I ever say that?" But I refused to let her off. One of my hands held the back of her neck, while the other rested on her waist, and then I assertively pulled her into my embrace. Due to our height difference, her head rested perfectly against my chin. Her heart was beating rapidly, thumping one after another, as if someone was playing a drum inside her chest. My hand holding her gradually tightened. I said, "Well, if you don't dare to kiss me, then I'm going to kiss you." She looked up at me, her breathing becoming hurried. A sweet and fresh fragrance lingered around the tip of my nose, and the surrounding air warmed up accordingly. Passers-by walked past in a hurry, with occasional glances thrown our way. Lu Ruyan seemed to have her competitive spirit successfully triggered by me. She tilted her head up, pursed her lips, and said, "Then kiss me." My breath caught too, and my throat instinctively swallowed. However, just as I was about to lean down and kiss her, a voice echoed from behind, "I'm exhausted." "Lu Ruyan, you are too much. How could you leave me behind to meet Boda by yourself?" Both Lu Ruyan and I froze at the same time. Right after that, I only felt a pair of arms wrapping around my neck. The next second, Lu Ruyan stood on her tiptoes and kissed me. Su Tingting said, "Not bad, it looks like you are both very satisfied with each other." She stepped closer and said, "Boda, I am Su Tingting, nice to finally meet you." My head moved a bit, wanting to look back, but Lu Ruyan immediately held me straight. Not being able to see my face, Su Tingting grumbled in dissatisfaction, "No way, you guys are already acting so lovey-dovey? I can't even get a single look?" Lu Ruyan replied, "No, you can't." She said, "This is my boyfriend." Su Tingting scoffed and said, "Fine, fine, fine, who is even going to steal him from you?" She said, "Then I'll leave." "Is it fine if I leave? Who even cares anyway?" As Su Tingting spoke, her gaze remained glued to me. Lu Ruyan snapped, "What are you looking at? Get going." Her face went completely cold. Su Tingting thought to herself, "Is he out of his mind? Acting just like a lapdog." After being given the cold shoulder by Lu Ruyan several times, she was also boiling with anger. However, she really didn't expect Boda to look quite wealthy. The watch on his wrist was clearly worth a fortune at first glance, though she didn't know what he looked like under any other circumstances. Still, it didn't matter, no matter how rich or handsome he was, he could never compare to that person. Thinking of this, Su Tingting felt much better. She decided not to make a fool of herself anymore and left quietly without saying a word. Since the official registration was only tomorrow, I could only stay at a hotel tonight. There weren't any high-end hotels near the school, but fortunately, the hygiene standards were acceptable. When checking in, Lu Ruyan accompanied me, which made the receptionist mistake us for staying together. The receptionist said, "Sir, could I please have this lady's ID card as well to register her?" I quickly chimed in, "She's not staying. Just registering me alone is fine." The receptionist looked at me, then at her, with a knowing, subtle smirk on her face. She replied, "All right." Lu Ruyan and I silently exchanged glances and quickly looked away. Sigh, this current atmosphere somehow made me feel like if we didn't do something, we would be getting misunderstood for nothing. I shook my head, clearing all those strange thoughts from my mind, and with Lu Ruyan. We continued walking forward and entered the room. She helped me pack my luggage first, then took out a disposable bedsheet and quilt cover. Standing beside her, I secretly stared at Lu Ruyan's profile. This nose bridge is so high and straight, could it be plastic surgery? This face is so exquisite and defined, did she get a facelift? How is there not a single trace of thread lifting? I couldn't help but sigh in admiration. To think that someone could actually look like this in real life, and she is even my girlfriend. TSK, I'm really amazing. While I was looking intently, Lu Ruyan suddenly turned her head. Caught red-handed with a lustful look, I couldn't help but feel guilty and asked, "What's wrong?" Lu Ruyan stared straight at me, looking as if she wanted to say something but hesitated. I looked at the bed, then at her, and the dirty thoughts that had just been suppressed recaptured my mind. Stuttering, I asked, Do you have something to say?" She glanced at me and gave a low murmur. After tidying up the bedsheet, she walked over and hooked her pinky finger with mine. My heart jumped into my throat. Is it coming? Is it really coming? As Lu Ruyan drew closer, my heart rate began to spiral out of control, and my breathing gradually quickened. The ambiguous atmosphere heated up rapidly. Under a gaze full of affection, Lu Ruyan spoke. She said, if Su Tingting finds out you are the one she is looking for and comes back to you, will you abandon me? I looked at her and blinked. She held it in for so long, and this was all she wanted to say? No wonder she wouldn't let me look back at the airport. She was worried I would fall for Su Tingting. How should I put it? This feeling is like going out to eat, and the person sitting opposite prepares a grand imperial feast for you. You have a great appetite and are about to feast. Yet she asks you if you want to eat that pile of dog feces by the roadside? In response, I let out a sigh. Lu Ruyan thought she had guessed correctly, throwing herself aggrievedly into my arms and hugging me tightly. She said, I don't care, you've seen my whole body, you have to be responsible for me. In our tight embrace, her trembling breath was astonishingly hot. I smiled helplessly, my hands brushing her back intentionally or unintentionally. I said, don't worry, I will definitely take responsibility. Lu Ruyan let go, looked up, and asked, really? I looked into her beautiful peach blossom eyes, my smile deepening. I said, of course. Lu Ruyan finally let out a sigh of relief. She rubbed her nose against mine and whispered softly, husband. Let's go eat. In this atmosphere, I actually wanted to eat something else first. But before I could speak, the doorbell rang. I smiled and said, no need, I ordered takeout, and it just arrived. I patted Lu Ruyan on the back and pulled her toward the door. I continued, I ordered some local specialty snacks, including the sesame mutton you love, and... However, the moment the door opened, the words died in my throat. Su Tingting was panting heavily, her gaze pinning me like a hot iron. She shouted, you are Ji Boda. You are him, I've finally found you. She tilted her head, showing a smile she thought was cute but looked a bit silly. Then, seeing Lu Ruyan standing behind me, her gaze suddenly turned ice cold. Su Tingting leaned against the door, her eyes sharp as knives falling upon Lu Ruyan. She said resentfully, Ji Boda is mine. Su Tingting. Lu Ruyan's voice suddenly grew sharp. She looked at Su Tingting and sneered, what kind of nonsense are you talking about in broad daylight? Lu Ruyan took my arm and continued, Ji Boda is my boyfriend, and weren't you the one who introduced us in the first place? Have you forgotten? Su Tingting said, back then I didn't know she was the one. She stopped halfway through her sentence, biting her lip and glaring at Lu Ruyan. She muttered something under her breath, then furiously ruffled her hair, her face filled with resentment. Lu Ruyan, I treated you as my best friend, but what did you treat me as? You clearly knew the person I've been looking for is Ji Boda, yet you didn't say a word. If it weren't for the classmates taking photos of you two booking a room, how much longer were you going to keep me in the dark? Su Tingting became more and more agitated as she spoke, wishing she could just start cursing. But realizing I was there, she swallowed her angry words back down. She said irritably, I won't waste any more words. Return Ji Boda to me, and I can act as if nothing happened. I frowned. The next second, a voice rang out, have you asked for my opinion? Have you asked for my boyfriend's opinion? Two voices rang out at the same time, filling my heart with joy. Excuse me, but husband and wife following each other is just how tacit our understanding is. I took Lu Ruyan's hand and walked straight up to Su Tingting. She stared blankly at us as we approached. She stammered. Ji Boda, I was just... I raised my hand to interrupt her. Su Tingting, please calm down. The two of us are ancient history. I have a girlfriend now. I added. Besides, I don't have a habit of being someone's lapdog. Su Tingting's expression changed instantly. Realizing something, she became extremely panicked. I didn't mean to. Not wasting any more words on her, I pulled out my phone and said, I don't want my girlfriend to misunderstand. Let's not even be friends anymore, just delete each other. No, don't. Su Tingting took a step forward, her throat tightening, her voice trembling. Don't delete me, I beg you. As soon as those words fell, I had already pressed the red button. Su Tingting stared blankly as she disappeared from my friend list, her eyes turning red instantly. She choked up, G. Boda. G. Boda, I am sincere, I really, really like you. Just after she finished speaking, Lu Ruyan pushed her away and said, how can you be so shameless? She had endured it for a long time. If it weren't for maintaining her image, she wouldn't have let Su Tingting talk so much nonsense. Just as Lu Ruyan raised her hand to slap her, I stopped her and shook my head. Lu Ruyan pursed her lips in silence, and finally put her hand down. Su Tingting thought I was protecting her, and her eyes instantly lit up. She said, G. Boda, I knew you cared about me and couldn't bear to see me hurt. I said coldly, I just don't want to dirty my girlfriend's hands. As for you, I don't find you pitiful, I find you ridiculous. Didn't you go around saying you looked down on a poor loser like me, and that I was just a backup-licking dog? You also said you wanted to break up long ago. Now that things are exactly as you wished, why are you unhappy again? I added, alright, I've said all I need to say. If you insist on pestering us, I don't mind taking action myself. My face darkened, showing clear disgust. The smile on Su Tingting's lips instantly froze, her face turning bright red, whether from shame or anger. She stared at me quietly for a moment, bit her lower lip unwillingly, glared fiercely at Lu Ruyan, and then left in resentment. On the day of registration, I was unexpectedly posted on the confession wall. Lu Ruyan didn't see it until a few days later, and she almost went crazy with jealousy. She commented directly underneath, sorry, this is my boyfriend, please stay away from him, thank you. She even attached a photo of us together. Only after posting everything did she ask me, bro, you don't mind going public, right? I narrowed my eyes, realizing that Lu Ruyan was not only calculating but also quite a green tea girl. Ever since we made our relationship official, she had been secretly showing off, changing her WeChat profile picture and her background cover, as if she were decorating her QQ space, so childish. But who told her to be so beautiful beyond limits? I was willing to spoil her, but then... Is this all the reward I get? I let out a devious smirk in secret, then hardened my face and said, you made your own decision without even asking me. I am very displeased. Lu Ruyan lowered her gaze, looking pitiful as she said, I'm sorry. I saw someone leaving a comment below and felt really bad, which is why I said those things. I promise I won't do it again. Looking at her, I almost burst out laughing. Clearing my throat, I said, if you want me to let this slide, it's actually quite simple. Lu Ruyan's eyes lit up, and she asked, then what should I do? I raised an eyebrow, leaned in close, and asked, is that revealing photo of yours really not photoshopped? I added, I've always found it hard to believe someone could have such a perfect body. Lu Ruyan was stunned for a moment. Once she recovered, her face flushed red as she asked, right now? I nodded and replied, yes, right now. With her eyelashes trembling slightly, Lu Ruyan said, you are really direct. I clicked my tongue and asked, are you going to let me see it or not? Her cheeks burned crimson as she whispered in a voice as soft as a mosquito's buzz, I'll let you see. The moment she finished speaking, I immediately pulled my phone out of my pocket and said, alright, then I'll book a hotel room. Only after we entered the hotel room did Lu Ruyan finally relax. Along the way, I had held her hand tightly, her palm was soaked with sweat, yet she still forced herself to act calm and natural. I had no intention of exposing her, pretending not to notice anything. Just as we were about to enter the room, the next second, Lu Ruyan suddenly threw herself into my arms, burying her head in my chest. She said, G. Boda, I really like you, I really do. I sighed helplessly and said, I know, but could you please not press yourself so close to me? Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to control myself. Lu Ruyan froze for a moment. Realizing something, she looked down, suddenly let go of me, and backed away to keep her distance. With a blushing face, she said, sorry, I am so sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. He asked, so, do you still want to see it? I lifted my chin and nodded, of course. As if making up his mind, he took a deep breath and said, "Then close your eyes first." "Don't open them until I'm ready." I nodded in agreement. "All right." I obediently closed my eyes, but my breathing became heavier and heavier. Thinking about witnessing the beautiful scenery with my own eyes for the first time, I instantly had a physical reaction. The room was extremely quiet, only the rustling sound of clothes rubbing against each other echoed in my ears. That feeling of not being able to witness it with my own eyes, relying entirely on my imagination, made me even more excited. At this moment, even though the air conditioner was set very low, I was still unbearably hot, drenching in sweat. I took a deep breath, trying to suppress my wild thoughts. Finally, I heard Lu Ruyan give a soft mumble. Before the words could even leave her mouth, I immediately opened my eyes. With just one glance, I shuddered. Letting out a raspy groan, I asked blankly, "Ruyan, can I open my eyes now?" Lu Ruyan's face flushed with embarrassment, and she instinctively wrapped her clothes tighter. Biting her lip, she said, "You've already seen everything and you're still asking me? You're so bad." In the next second, I pulled her tightly into my arms. I said, "Let me hold you for a moment, just a moment is fine." Lu Ruyan complained, "You're a big liar. You said just a moment, but it's already been half an hour and you still won't let go." She reached out to push me away, adding, "Even if you want to hold me, can we go to bed?" I was stunned for a moment and asked, "Are you really sure?" She snorted softly and said, "My legs are just numb, don't think too much of it." However, before she could finish her sentence, I had already swept her up in my arms. I placed her directly on the bed, then gently massaged her calves. I said, "I'm not thinking too much, rest assured, I won't do anything without your consent." She pursed her lips but didn't say a word. Lu Ruyan and I slept in each other's arms. In the middle of the night, I felt hot and restless, tossing and turning, unable to sleep soundly. In my days, it seemed like someone got out of bed, and I heard the sound of a suitcase unzipping and clothes being changed. Suddenly, I felt someone touching me. I frowned and opened my eyes. In the next second, my pupils dilated instantly. I saw Lu Ruyan half kneeling by the bedside. While tying her hair up, she cast a sultry glance at me. She said, "But I didn't say I didn't agree either." Seeing my completely dazed expression, she reached out to hook her finger in my belt, let out a soft hum, and said, "Which means, you can do whatever you want." I shuddered instantly. Lu Ruyan looking like this was just too unfair. Am I the kind of person who can resist temptation? Absolutely not. True beauty was right in front of me. Because wasting even a single second would be a disrespect to the dopamine surging in my body. Whatever, I will help myself first. 2 hours later, Lu Ruyan stretched out her soft hands and pressed them against my chest. She softly complained that she was thirsty and told me to move so she could drink some water. I immediately saw through her thoughts, grabbing her hands and smiling. I teased, "Call me husband once, and I will let you go drink water, okay?" Staring into those extremely charming eyes, I waited for her response. Only then did she blush and whisper softly, "Husband." My pupils dilated, and with a gentle pull, I lifted her up in one sweep. I said dotingly, "Good wife, husband will carry you to get water right now." Lu Ruyan was left speechless. After the official start of the semester, due to having too many classes, the time Lu Ruyan and I spent together became less and less. Every time we parted, she would linger and delay for a long time. My roommate couldn't stand it and sneered, "Don't you guys see each other every day? Who are you putting on this life and death separation act for?" This was not the first time my roommate had targeted me. Ever since he became Su Tingting's boyfriend, he found me annoying in every possible way. I was no pushover, so I certainly wouldn't let him insult me for nothing. Frowning, I said, "I'm sorry, but my girlfriend is indeed very clingy, unlike your drama queen girlfriend who makes a scene every couple of days." "Screw you." My roommate was left speechless, his face turning pale with anger. I didn't bother with him anymore and went back to my bed to text Lu Ruyan. I messaged her, "I've found a good apartment. If you like it too, let's move out as soon as possible." Lu Ruyan replied almost instantly, "I'll do whatever my hubby says." On the day I moved out of the dorm, I ran into Su Tingting. To be exact, she was the one who blocked my way. By the rockery behind the library, Su Tingting kept pulling at me, demanding that I give her an explanation. I sighed and said, "Let's talk this out calmly. Can you let go of my hand first?" She kept squeezing me tightly, refusing to let go. Her eyes widened as if she wanted to swallow me alive. She bit her lips hard, growling each word. "Are you really planning to move in with Lu Ruyan?" I frowned and replied, "What does this have to do with you? Under what capacity and identity are you questioning me?" Hearing this, she became even more agitated, screaming at the top of her lungs, "Why? Why did you choose her?" Su Tingting's eyes turned red as she choked out, "What part of me is not as good as her?" Out of nowhere, a chain appeared in her hand. I was stunned. In the next second, she actually wrapped the chain around her own neck, then handed the other end to me. She pleaded in a low voice, "I am very obedient. Please, can you just look at me? I won't ruin your relationship with her." "Okay, master." I stood frozen, goosebumps breaking out all over my body. Su Tingting seemed to feel that wasn't enough. She stripped off her outer coat, revealing extremely provocative lingerie underneath. She continued, "Don't you like people with good bodies the most? Look at me, I'm actually not bad either." Seeing Su Tingting like this, I decisively reached out my hand. In the next second, a sharp slap echoed out, mercilessly landing on her face. Landed squarely on her face. Her entire face instantly swelled up high. I said, word by word, "Didn't I tell you already? If you insist on pestering me, I don't mind getting physical with you myself." But Su Tingting seemed to have lost her mind, begging me to keep hitting her. I was utterly speechless. This situation continued until I finally called the police. Only when the police arrived did they forcibly drag her away. After listening to my story, Lu Ruyan said with a face full of disgust, "How can she be so perverted? I never noticed her having this kind of fetish before." She hugged me heartbrokenly and said, "Hubby, you've suffered. I will absolutely not let her off." She kept repeating apologies, and Lu Ruyan was filled with deep regret. She felt that if she hadn't gone to decorate the room early this morning, she would have definitely noticed Su Tingting's abnormal behavior, and this wouldn't have happened. Su Tingting was first sent to the hospital to have the injuries on her face briefly treated, before being taken away for questioning. Because Su Tingting is a female student, the school originally wanted to handle the matter quietly. However, Lu Ruyan immediately found someone to expose the incident online, and it quickly went viral. All of Su Tingting's former dignity and vanity were now completely shattered. Her heart was completely shattered, and everywhere she went, people pointed and whispered about her. In the end, unable to withstand the pressure, she dropped out of school not long after. Before leaving, she had gone around inquiring about my news. However, this was something I only learned from others much later. From then on, this person never appeared in my life again. Together with that annoying online romance episode, it was finally turned over completely. Without those bothersome flies, the college life of Lu Ruyan and me was so sweet that it could make someone cry. Lu Ruyan's persona as an aloof flower shattered into pieces before me, leaving nothing behind. What cool and abstinent persona! It didn't exist at all. Nowadays, she is simply like a clingy spirit reincarnated. Of course, I also lived a happy life that I never grew tired of. Time flew by quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was already our senior year. We didn't fall into the anxiety of the breakup season like other graduating couples. Our goal had been set long ago, which was to be admitted to our university's postgraduate program together. Lu Ruyan was still my exclusive accessory, just hanging on more rightfully. After all, we were already like an old married couple. On a lazy, sunny Sunday afternoon, we snuggled up in the outdoor seating of a lakeside cafe on campus. She held the cup of hot cocoa, taking small sips. The sunlight cast a soft, golden glow around her, making her look as beautiful as ever. She picked up my phone and scrolled through it randomly. Somehow, she stumbled upon my hidden album, which contained only one photo, the scene of her epic disaster. Lu Ruyan froze for a moment, and then her entire face flushed bright red. She said huffily, "Why do you still keep this photo?" Her small fists started raining down on my chest in mock frustration. Laughing, I caught her swinging fists and pulled her into my embrace. Resting my chin on the top of her head, I breathed in the fresh scent of her hair, my chest swelling with absolute happiness. I said, "Of course I have to keep it." That was the decisive proof of our successful online dating, and the starting point of me winning over the cold campus belle. Such an important historical relic must be treasured carefully and appreciated regularly. The girl in my arms grew quiet, and a few seconds passed. Later, her coquettish voice sounded, "I don't care, I will give you two choices, appreciating the photo or appreciating the real person. You can only choose one." I laughed out loud, tightening my arms to hold her tightly in my embrace. Only children make choices. I want both. Side story. 6 years later, late at night. Having finished my shower, I warmed up a cup of milk for Tian Tian. Just as I reached her room door, I heard her saying, "When I grow up, I want to be just like Mom, driving away those bad girls who pester Dad." Lu Ruyan said, "That's not right." The woman in the room wagged her index finger from side to side, her expression extremely serious. "Driving away those girls who pester your dad is more than enough with just your mom doing it." Tian Tian grumbled, "But..." Lu Ruyan replied, "Gee Tian Tian, don't always think about stealing your dad from your mom, or else I'll spank you." I couldn't help but chuckle helplessly. She was still as childish as ever.